Okay, I'd like to call the public hearing to order, please. And just to review the ground rules, when there are multiple people from a single organization, I'm going to call them all up at one time. The time limit for anyone to present is 3 minutes, and since we have so many, I'm not going to be Mr. Nice Guy on that issue. I'm going to hold you to the 3 minutes, and we are going to start with MSEA, and we have I think 5 people from MSEA: Doug Prouty, Julian Scrivens, Teresa Dudley, Maria Elegio, Siobhan Tedston, and if they could come up to the table, please. One other thing, if I know some of you have written material, and it will be given to us, and we will read it. So please don't read your presentation to us. You can summarize it by all means, but we will have a copy of your presentation. So who would like to start?
Well,
please.
Thank you. Dr. Kirwan, Commissioners, thank you for your dedication and your hard work on behalf of our public schools. My name is Doug Prouty. I'm a high school English teacher from Montgomery County, currently serving as the Vice President of the Maryland State Education Association. Your work is commendable. It has always sought to strike a grand bargain, and that is exactly what you have done. Your work creates a pathway to narrow achievement gaps and lasting educational equity, which will help lead to a fairer and more prosperous future for our state. If implemented, we can truly deliver a great public school for every student, regardless of where they live. Realizing your recommendations will also better position Maryland to recruit businesses and attract entrepreneurs as our economy expands and our students fill the jobs of the future. We also appreciate how this entire report relies on strong accountability and trust in educators and students to build a stronger system for the future of our state. For this to work and to be implemented with fidelity, we hope the General Assembly, the Department of Education, and the Oversight Board will always keep the needs of students and the voices of educators in the forefront. I'm joined this evening by a group of educators who have been following your work. They have participated in some of the 30 statewide community forums organized by the Coalition for the Blueprint for Maryland's Future in order to educate and engage citizens around our state. We've seen a lot of excitement and public support for the blueprint and the promise of a better public education system. On behalf of MSEA, I urge the Commission to cast an affirmative vote on the adoption of the proposed funding formula and final recommendations so that Governor Hogan and the General Assembly have a clear mandate to act in the 2020 legislative session. Our kids can't wait any longer. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Next, please.
I'll go next. Chairman Kirwan and Commissioners, thank you for the chance to share my thoughts with you tonight. My name is Julian Scrivens. I'm a 6th grade language arts teacher in Charles County at Madeline Middle School, which is where I've been for the first 5 years of my early career. I love my job, and I'm passionate about having more people who look like me working and teaching in our schools. To that end, I'm here tonight to voice my support for the work of the Commission, particularly related to Policy Area 2. I think this policy area reflects a lot of important goals related to recruiting and retaining diverse and high-quality educators in our schools. And if we're going to recruit diverse, high-quality educators who are prepared to teach in our state, we will need to rely on the exceptional teacher preparation programs here in Maryland, especially those found at our HBCUs. If we're going to treat educators like the professionals that we are, it will take increases in salaries, improved opportunities to grow in the profession, better and more reliable tools and technology, and better staffing to allow for planning time, individualized instruction, and more manageable caseloads. This will make it easier to keep good people in their jobs. And I think the salary and pay goals that are linked to starting pay and longer-term increases can be a really great marketing tool for getting young people currently in high school and college to join the profession. That type of recruiting advantage is necessary when you consider that most Maryland teachers are trained out of state or working in places where they did not grow up or currently live. And it's especially hard to recruit new educators now when 4 in 10 educators work a second job just to make ends meet. We need to better support our educators who dedicate their lives to children. I urge your positive vote and continue action to improve salaries, expand staffing, and elevate the profession that I love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Kirwan and Commissioners, my name is Maria Eligio, and I am an ESOL paraprofessional at Woodlawn High School, and I love my job. It is a dream come true to help the ESOL community, and I am passionate about seeing our kids succeed. Our school has at least 150 ESOL students, many of whom have zero English skills, and I am the only ESOL paraprofessional. Last week, among many other tasks, I helped 10 students write their first essay for an English 10 final assignment. One student said to me, "If you were not here, I would be sleeping because I cannot understand anything." I felt proud to be able to give him the opportunity that he deserves. Unfortunately, at Woodlawn that day, there were more than 10 ESOL students who were writing an essay for a final grade. Because of inadequate staffing, all those other students didn't have anyone like me to help them. We are failing at giving our students an equal opportunity. They feel discouraged when they walk into class, which is not prepared to serve them efficiently. This leads to truancy issues and high dropout rates. Sadly, my story and circumstances are not unique, but I do see great hope in your recommendations. Specifically, I want to encourage the additional per pupil funding for students who are English language learners. I also support the proposal related to hiring 15,000 new educators to support improved workloads for me and my colleagues. I hope you understand that recommendation is a goal for me as a paraprofessional and not just a recommendation for new teachers. Paras can provide immediate support and individualized instruction. We are a critical part of schools, and I hope as the General Assembly acts on your final report that they remember to keep salaries and working conditions in mind for support staff too. It is critical to adopt your recommendations. It will make a difference for my students. Thank you for letting me share tonight.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, Dr. Kirwan, members of the commission. My name is Teresa Mitchell Dudley, and I'm a middle school social studies and science teacher. And I'm also president of the Prince George's County Educators Association, and I represent the more than 10,000 educators in Prince George's County. Today I'm speaking up because I know how important it is for your work to move forward, because the status quo is not sustainable for our students or our educators. The long-term underfunding and inequitable funding of our schools is undermining our state's future, particularly for students in poverty. Prince George's County has over almost 70% of our students are living in poverty, receiving free or reduced lunch. All of our students, no matter their zip code, are Maryland's children. Thankfully, your work recognizes this. A new funding formula that provides an additional weight for schools with a concentration of students who live in poverty will make our funding system more equitable and take off where the Thornton Commission began. And it will allow us to create and support more community schools. Expanding the use of community schools has been a priority for teachers in Prince George's County for the past 4 years. And even as we added dozens more, approximately 45 schools this year, because of the blueprint for Maryland's future, we are still fighting to get the implementation right. I think it is important that these community school coordinators are employees of the school system, not contracted out, and are connected to the education needs of students so that their needs assessment is done through an educator's lens. It really matters. And this is something we are determined to make clear when the legislature reviews what worked and what needs improvement based on what was adopted earlier this year. You have laid the groundwork, and I hope the governor and the legislature will be ready to act to pass a new funding formula in 2020. Our children can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there? Oh, yes. Okay, please.
Good evening. My name is Siobhan Tetson. I'm a second grade teacher in Calvert County. I wanted to talk to you tonight about two other aspects of your work that I think will make a huge difference for our students and our economy. Reaching a goal of near universal pre-K will be a game changer for our youngest students, especially when linked to improved staffing and support for infant and toddler programs. When students reach me in the second grade after having high quality early childhood learning opportunities, I can see the difference almost immediately. Implementing this recommendation will help make sure our children are ready to learn immediately. I also am impressed with the expansion of career technical education opportunities outlined in your recommendations and included as a priority item in the proposed phase-in plan. Not only do CTE programs make a difference for our students, I also think expansion of apprenticeship and job certification programs will be an immediate help to our economy. A high school diploma will mean more than it ever has, and some of our hard-to-staff jobs will find an immediate workforce. Like my colleagues, I thank you for your service, and I urge a positive vote to ensure that our kids don't have to wait any longer for policy and funding recommendations that will ensure they are ready to learn and ready to work. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll call Strong Schools Maryland representatives to be followed by Worcester County. So I think we have Mr. Francavilla and Mr. Steele.
Thank you, Chairman Kirwan. Kirwan Commission, thank you for being here. Elected leaders, thank you. My name is Joe Francavilla. I am the co-chair of the Coalition for the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, along with Shamoya Gardner of Advocates for Children and Youth. And I am also the executive director of Strong Schools Maryland. We are a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit organization exclusively committed to ensuring that the work that you all have done over the last 3 years is turned into law and is accompanied by a funding formula that has the necessary revenues attached. And so we have active members in nearly every Maryland county and every single background and political persuasion. And so I want to hit on 3 key points first. First, the conversations you are having are incredibly important. I think today's conversations matter tremendously, but I want to make sure we're not losing the forest through the trees. We're talking about the fundamental transformation of Maryland public schools. And I argue this is the most important legislation of the last 17 years, although I did like what Majority Leader Lukey said earlier, that this is the most important legislation since the 1960s, so I think we'll go with his version instead. And though every single detail of the recommendations is important, especially making sure students with special needs receive the funding and it's not supplanted, we must not let perfect be the enemy of great. Strong Schools Maryland has been with you for this entire journey as we truly believe that these recommendations are transformational. We must resist the temptation to trim the sails or put the policy areas in competition with one another. Second, please embrace the heightened energy that we've seen today and the last couple of weeks and use it to act with increased urgency to finalize the Commission's decisions. Maryland students need you to produce the strongest report possible and turn it over to the Governor and the General Assembly in a timely way. There should be no extensions past the deliverable date of December 1st. Our students have been promised resources. This 3-year process is about our kids, but it's also about our economy and the future competitiveness of our state. The time is now. And finally, the public is with you. We are ready to fight for our kids and our community. I mean, take a look around at all the blue shirts we have today. Members of the coalition, stand up and give a wave. This place is packed with supporters. You have the political support behind you. You have the grassroots ready to mobilize. You have the community. The coalition represents over 360,000 Marylanders. We are ready to get this done, and we ask that you turn this over to the General Assembly, and we begin the process of winning during the 2020 legislative session. So thank you for all the work that you've done. We know that this has been a long process. We know that 3 years has produced a lot of really great conversations. This is transformational work. It should not be overlooked that the work that you did is going to be nation leading. Now we just need to get it done, and we need to make sure it's fully funded during the 2020 legislative session. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
the distinguished members of the Kirwan Commission. My name is Jordan Steele. I'm a resident of Baltimore City. I live there with my wife and 2 kids. Eli is 3 and Sam is 10 months old. We're committed to Baltimore City, and we're especially committed to sending Eli and Sam to their zone public school, Margaret Brent Elementary Middle. Margaret Brent is a really nurturing environment, full of teachers and staff who want to do right by the kids they're charged with educating. But like a lot of Baltimore City schools, Margaret Brent has significant challenges. 80 to 90% of the students are low income. The school itself has been chronically underfunded for years, forcing its dedicated principal to make really tough choices. And just one example, the school has been without a school librarian for years. I run a volunteer program that helps staff the library, but there's really no substitute for professional expertise in this area. Kirwan's recommendations excite me in one main way. You first and foremost, you recognize that many of the kids that Eli and Sam will go to school with weren't born with the same advantages they have. And so they need the wraparound services to help them in school and in life. Kirwan funds this, and it's a core strength of the recommendations. So on behalf of Eli and Sam and their future friends, I implore you to do the right thing and fully fund Kirwan. Thank you.
Thank you both. I'd now like to call the representatives from the Worcester County schools. Chip Bertino, Diana Purnell, Lou Taylor, and Harold Higgins. Yes. Understand there are some others from Worcester that will be standing behind you to give you all the support you need.
Yes. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and I should let you know that we're all not going to speak. So, Dr. Kirwan, Commission members, thank you for hosting this public hearing on this very important topic. My name is Chip Bertino, Worcester County Commissioner, and I'm very pleased to have sitting with me here Worcester County Commissioner President Diana Purnell, Worcester County Chief Executive Officer, Administrative Officer Harold Higgins, and Worcester County School Superintendent Lou Taylor. We also have behind us, as you can see, a number of other Worcester County folks. This has been an extremely important issue to all of us across the county, and I'm very pleased to introduce the following folks. From the Board of Education, Vice President Eric Cropper, Bill Buchanan, Elena McComas. Chief Financial Officer for the Board of Ed, Vince Tolbert. Deputy Assistant Superintendent Dee Shorts, Beth Shockley Lynch, President of the Worcester County Teachers Association, Amy Gallagher, Coordinator of Accountability and Assessment, from Human Resources, Dwayne Apt, and Principal of Pocomoke Middle School, Matthew Record. Also, we have from Human Services from County Government, Stacy Norton, and our Financial Officer, Phil Thompson. We're all here. We're all not going to speak. In fact, I'll be the only one speaking. My colleagues here at the table have all ceded their time to me, Mr. Chairman. Worcester County appreciates very much your efforts to enhance innovation and further excellence in education. There is much to support in the recommendations of this commission because, like you, Worcester County recognizes the great responsibility we all have to ensure that students of our county and counties across the state benefit from a quality education. The examination of the Maryland school system and the subsequent recommendations by the Kirwan Commission illuminate the reality that Worcester County, in many ways, is a leader in education excellence. From the time the children of Worcester County first walk through the doors of our elementary schools, we as a community have the responsibility to ensure that by the time they walk out the doors of our high schools, that they, for the last time, they are equipped and prepared to successfully embrace the opportunities of college or career.
Between Worcester County government and the Worcester County Board of Education, a working friendship and relationship has been forged through openness, honesty, and at times speaking hard and difficult truths to one another. This has sharpened our focus on what we hold most dear, the future of our county and the future of our education system. This year, Worcester County School System celebrated 151 years service to our community, and during that time, we as county taxpayers have embraced the responsibility to support our teachers, our staff, and our students. And we have made the necessary investments to ensure school facilities are maintained properly so that the teachers can teach and the students can learn in safe, clean, and in functional environments. To be sure, there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. But Worcester County has demonstrated time and time again that it knows how best to allocate resources to foster educational achievement among our students. Often, because of the cooperation and ingenuity of county government and our Board of Education, the efforts of our teachers and our administrators and our students are on the leading edge of education. Yet the unfortunate reality is that when it comes to education allocations by the state, Worcester County has been systemically and historically penalized for the very thing that has made us effective: the positive, engaged, and results-oriented relationship among those vested with the responsibility to educate the children of our county. Worcester County's best intentions to, for years, appropriately fund the school system based on local student need and available resources were held against us when maintenance of effort, MOE, became law in Maryland. Because it does not include variables such as poverty levels and demographics, the MOE formula, as currently calculated, is unfair to Worcester County taxpayers who are forced to fund about 75 to 80% of the Board of Education's operational budget, the highest of any other public school jurisdiction in this state. By comparison, local taxpayers in the neighboring counties of Wycomico and Somerset fund only about 20% of their respective boards of education budgets. How is that fair? And then there are the capital investments above the per-student investments. There are other necessary school system costs borne by Worcester County taxpayers, including school construction and remodeling, replacement of HVAC systems and technology, and allocations for these come from either bonding or the general fund, which places an additional responsibility on the county's budget and ultimately taxpayers. Unfortunately, reviewing and revising the MOE funding formula to ensure fairness of state education funding to all school districts was not part of the Kirwan funding group or by the full Kirwan Commission, despite the fact that it was a stated objective at the Commission's inception. Rather than address and fix the inequities of MOE funding suffered by Worcester and other counties throughout the state, the Kirwan Commission recommendations bake the inequities into funding projections going forward, thus ensuring no relief for Worcester County taxpayers nor taxpayers in other counties who find themselves in a similar predicament. That's not right. At a recent Warwick Community College presentation, Dr. Kirwan was asked whether state education funding could be impacted during slow economic periods, and he answered that he believed that in such circumstances, state funding could ease up. His answer, although honest, raises a red flag for us in Worcester County and other parts of the state, I believe. What impact would there be on the counties during slow economic times should the state ease up on its financial commitment to education funding? Would reduced state funding be transferred to counties to bridge the funding gap? This ambiguity is troublesome because during the most recent lengthy economic downturn, state highway user allocations to counties was slashed dramatically, never to return fully. That is just one example where state has cut its funding and its impact at the counties. Would Worcester County and other counties be susceptible to unfunded mandates? The financial impact of Kirwan Commission recommendations on Worcester County and other counties is jarring for these reasons. Mandated increased local spending, despite the fact that in Worcester's case, we are already investing more per student than any other district. There's no adjustment to the MOE formula to ensure state education allocations are fairly distributed among all counties. and there's no flexibility for Worcester and other school districts to apply Kirwan recommendations in ways that make sense for local conditions. One size does not fit all. Worcester County is not Baltimore City. Should the counties be forced to fund at the increased levels stipulated by Kirwan, the money will have to come from other parts of the county budget, either in increased taxes or cuts to other services. Because of the cooperative relationship between Worcester County Commissioners and the Board of Education, a relationship that can be counted in generations, Worcester County Public Schools regularly attain high levels of student achievement and facility care. School facilities are maintained at a high level, ensuring that more than 6,600 students have an excellent learning environment. County taxpayers have allocated and will continue to allocate money to ensure that the schools and classrooms are maintained. In short, discipline maintenance plans have positively impacted our schools and students. Worcester County taxpayers invest more per student than any other jurisdiction in the state, and county taxpayers maintain our school facilities at an exceptionally high level without the benefit of fair state education funding partnership. Worcester is not alone with this concern. The Kirwan Commission recommendations, if adopted in their current form, would deepen the disparity between what is fair and what is not. Soon the recommendations of the Kirwan Commission will move through the legislative process, and it will become caught up in the swirl of political influences. None of us this evening knows whether the recommendations will become law. We don't know what form they will take once the bill is debated in the House of Delegates and the Maryland Senate. We don't know what deals will be made for or by our state representatives. We don't know whether county taxpayers throughout the state will be treated fairly. We don't know whether or not the governor is going to sign the end bill. But we should all be able to agree that our endeavors to fulfill the objectives of a more fair, more flexible, more responsive, and more results-oriented educational system will, if we're successful, brighten the futures of our students from Worcester to Garrett, from Baltimore City to St. Mary's. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you, and thank all of you for making the effort to come to speak to us today.
Thank you very much. It was a 2.5-hour drive. Does anybody validate parking, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we're going to hear from Montgomery County Public Schools. We have Board President Shebra Evans and Superintendent Jack Smith. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll begin. Good afternoon, Chair Kirwan and esteemed members of the Commission. I am Shebra Evans, Board President, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to testify today regarding the Blueprint for Maryland's Future Funding Formula Work Group recommendations. On behalf of all of my colleagues on the Board of Education, I am pleased to speak to our support of these recommendations and significant funding support it would provide for all public schools in Montgomery County and across the state. These recommendations are a strong step in the positive direction for improving access, opportunity, and learning for all children in Maryland. We commend the work of the working group and would like to thank the members for this work and encourage the rest of the Commission to support these recommendations for moving Maryland's funding formulas into alignment with the greatest school system in the world. Yes, I said the world. As many of you know, MCPS continues to grow in student enrollment, having added over 20,000 students since 2010. This year alone, Montgomery County added over 2,500 additional students, and we extended our schools, expanded to 208 schools. As we continue to grow and educate students of Montgomery County, our mission is to ensure every student will have the academic, creative problem-solving, and social-emotional skills to be successful in college and in their career, and to thrive in their future. These efforts benefit greatly for more comprehensive funding and support. As part of the Senate Bill 1030, MCPS received $1.9 million in the concentration of poverty schools grants. These grants were used in 8 schools to establish community schools, which included a full-time healthcare practitioner and a community service coordinator. These funds are being used to support the physical, social, and psychological well-being and academic outcomes of students. We are very pleased that the work group recommendations lower the poverty threshold to provide more support for more schools. The addition of wraparound services, a community school coordinator, and a healthcare practitioner will help to enhance student enrichment experiences, improve student attendance, and improve the learning environment of schools throughout the state. The work group also recommended increased support for early childhood education, and their proposal will provide all 4-year-olds with full-day pre-kindergarten. This will provide the much-needed early support that has proven to improve children's futures. We look forward to working together to provide access to early valuable learning programs, including 3-year-olds, to improve the future endeavors of all children in Maryland. We appreciate and applaud your efforts to leverage new ways to improve the success of educators. The incorporation of raises for teachers in the new foundation formula will help to innovate and motivate our teaching workforce. Their inclusion is a strong message, and they are vital to the foundation of our educational system. Importantly, we do ask the Commission to consider adding funds for non-teacher educational personnel. Principals, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you
Yes.
for respecting the time.
Yes.
Yes, Superintendent Smith.
Good evening, Dr. Kirwan and esteemed members of the Commission. I would like to sincerely thank you for the many, many hours that you've invested in what I agree with Delegate Lutke is perhaps the most important legislation, certainly in my lifetime in Maryland. And it is our intention today to express our strong support as Montgomery County Public Schools, and as you heard from the President of our Board of Education, Ms. Evans, that we think that these priorities are incredibly important and that they are critical for the future of this state as well as for our community in Montgomery County. Montgomery County serves over 165,500 pre-K through 12th graders. It's a large of students that are utterly dependent on the public school system for their futures. As former Secretary of Education said, Rick Riley, in the 90s, that children and adolescents make up about 20% of our population, but they make up 100% of our future. They make up 100% of our future in Montgomery County, in Baltimore City, on the Eastern Shore, across the state, and across the nation. Montgomery County's priorities are completely consistent with the priorities that you have set forth. We believe that it is absolutely a moral, economic, and social imperative to change the circumstance and the levels of learning for students in poverty, students of color, English language learners, who I learned a new word today, emergent bilingual speakers, emergent bilingual speakers, because in Montgomery County we are convinced that language is an asset. And so those are our priorities. Students that need additional support through an IEP and special education services, and certainly our youngest learners. We also need to focus on career education. All of these things are critically important. The thing I would say as an observer and someone who's watched your work closely for several years is these things hang together. To break them off into pieces or to fail to create a strong, well-aligned foundation will not achieve the results that we're looking for. And 5 years from now, I guarantee you, people will be looking to see what is the result of this legislation. We support it strongly. I have to concur, though, with Ms. Evans that while it is important to change the nature and the way that we prepare teachers, the way we treat teachers, the career ladders, to not acknowledge the almost 10,000 support professionals and 800 administrators in Montgomery County Public Schools will be disastrous. It will drive a wedge among the sectors of our work. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you both. We now have a representative of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, Cheryl Cassiani.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you tonight. I'm actually the pinch hitter for the Baltimore City School Board. I'm the recently departed chair of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, but they have a school board meeting tonight, so I'm happy to be able to speak to you. Like everybody else, I want to start by thanking the members of the commission, Dr. Kirwan, the members of the funding work group. I was just saying to the person sitting next to me, it's sort of incredible how hard you all have worked and the entire time have kept the children of Maryland sort of right in front of you. So now we're looking forward to supporting the recommendations that you're putting forth and the funding formula as this moves into legislation. I don't need to repeat the saga of Baltimore City's belief that we are at this point dramatically underfunded based on the interruption of the last funding formula with the 2008 recession. We've tread that ground any number of times. But under our current leadership, Dr. Sanfelices, she has put in place a very strong foundation for, through our blueprint, for strong literacy, strong school leadership, and attention to the whole child. And our numbers are trending up. We're not proud of the level that they are now, but we are definitely trending up in all areas: graduation rate, literacy rates, math scores. So that's good that we're trending up, but it really does matter to us that these additional resources and these recommendations get enacted in legislation. And so what I'd like to just highlight is some very strong areas of concurrence where our priorities align exactly with the priorities coming from the Commission. Additional funding for pre-K. We've been doing this for years, fully funding all-day pre-K. We don't get commensurate funding through the current formula, so we take that out of other general funds. But we've seen a strong impact from that investment. A recognition that concentrated poverty requires more funding. This is probably the thing that matters the most to city schools, that part of the formula, and we were glad to see that play a prominent role in the funding formula. Adequate resources for teachers. We're proud of the new contract we just approved with our BTU, that it has a 3% salary increase. Retention and recruitment of quality teachers. Additional funding for struggling learners. This goes hand in hand with the funding for special education. If you don't have enough money for struggling learners, you're going to have more kids in special education. It all kind of works together. We've heard from other speakers about the need for the career and technology education. We had a fairly aggressive audit done of our CTE program. We were not happy with what we learned, but it has now given us a strong base for improvement, and we think can very much inform the use of additional funds. The last thing I want to note is that we know that you have struggled with, we have certainly struggled with, wow, that was fast.
You can finish your sentence. Yes.
How you count students, poor students, and that we believe that the Latinx in particular are being undercounted. We have some ideas. We're going to start a pilot to try to recollect some of the forms, but this continues to be a very big issue in Baltimore City.
The Commission has grappled with that issue.
If it were
Very
easy,
important.
all the smart people looking at it would have figured it out, but it really does matter in the undercounting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next, Advocates of Children and Youth, we have Shamoya Gardner.
Good evening, Dr. Kirwan, members of the Commission on Innovation and Excellence in Education. My name is Shamoya Gardner, and I serve as the Education Policy Director at Advocates for Children and Youth, and as one of two co-chairs for the Coalition for the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, along with Joe, who you saw earlier. My organization, ACY, is a statewide nonprofit which utilizes data analysis and engagement with impacted communities to identify policy solutions to issues which negatively impact the lives of Maryland's children and youth. We recognize that we cannot do this work effectively unless we address the oppressive systemic ills which impact young people, their families, and communities. You have my rather lengthy written testimony before you, which details additional recommendations, considerations, and concerns in each of the 5 policy areas, as well as with respect to the funding formula recommendations. I encourage you to view this testimony as an offering rather than as a challenge, and point to ACY's history of involvement with the work of the Commission, our support in the passage of both the Bridge to Kirwan and the Blueprint for Maryland's Future legislation, and our organizational commitment to improving outcomes for children as evidence that we stand with you in pursuit of a world-class system of public education. As you know, and perhaps all too well, it is impossible to address every single facet of every single issue which exists within public education in the time that you have had. And it would be similarly difficult even if you had had a decade to do so. We are, in fact, advancing reforms for a system which was founded on the inequitable treatment of Black students and other groups at its very outset. It will take some time to mitigate the impacts of racism, sexism, ableism, xenophobia, income stratification, and other forms of oppression on our students and communities, let alone the entire system. That is not, however, an excuse to delay action or to throw up our hands and act as if there is nothing left to do. Even though December and an exceptionally active legislative session are fast approaching, you all have the power of the final report. Indicate your will on the issues you've been unable to address. Make bold, declarative statements so that in January of 2020 and beyond, education and youth advocates such as myself and the many people in blue shirts behind me can carry this work forward with the stated will of the Commission backing our efforts. The state constitution specifically calls for the funding of public education via taxation or some other means. I knew that was 30 seconds. At a time when some of our state's leaders have abdicated their responsibilities to our state's youngest people and its greatest hope in a bright future in favor of short-term, illusory, and unsustainable financial prosperity, I implore you to remember the findings that brought us here. Maryland may be among the wealthiest states in the nation, but our schools are average and the outcomes we yield for students who are anything but white, neurotypical, and economically sound are less than that. What is the point in amassing wealth if we don't invest it well? Choose agency, listen to our concerns, welcome our allyship, and remember the ultimate truth that our kids can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. We now have three representatives from the Maryland Association of Boards of Education, Julia Hummer, Tolbert Rowe, and Pamela Cousins.
Good evening, Dr. Kirwan, members of the Commission. I'm Tolbert Rowe, a proud member of the Caroline County Board of Education and immediate past president of the Maryland Association of Boards of Education, also known as MABE. We're representing all the state's local boards of education. We appreciate this opportunity to present our positions, priorities, and concerns regarding the pending policy and funding decisions being considered by the Kirwan Commission of Innovation and Excellence in Education. MABE is honored to be represented on the commission by former MABE President Joy Schaefer and greatly respects the dedication and expertise of each member of the commission. MABE has participated fully in the commission's work and supports the thrust of significantly increasing the state's investment in a high-performing and innovative statewide system of public education toward the goal of improving our schools so that our students are as well prepared as students educated in the highest performing school systems in the world. Local boards of education, through MABE, led the advocacy effort to create the commission, precisely so that an updated adequacy study and other funding and accountability issues could be debated and transformed into legislation to update and improve Maryland's school finance system. Local boards believe that Maryland can and should move forward by adopting meaningful changes to our current school finance system, a system we can all be proud of, but which now dates back to 2002. Launching Kirwan is a constitutional imperative in Maryland. The Maryland State Constitution requires the General Assembly to, quote, establish throughout the state a thorough and efficient system of free public schools and shall provide by taxation or otherwise for their maintenance, end quote. The state agreed to uphold its constitutional duty, enacting the Bridge to Excellence Act in 2002. Today, Maryland is poised to reaffirm this duty to our students by enacting and funding the Kirwan Blueprint for Maryland's future. MABE is confident that on a timeline not to exceed 10 years, Maryland can renew its commitment to fulfilling its constitutional mandate to fully fund and support equitable access to all students to an excellent education in all 24 school systems. Extending this schedule of funding increases and reforms beyond 10 years is unacceptable. Maryland's nearly 1 million public school students deserve a world-class education today. We would also encourage the Commission to consider calculating the actual net cost of your recommendations after determining the positive economic impact of these recommendations. Thank you for your leadership in developing your recommendation. MABE looks forward to the successful passage of the Kirwan Blueprint legislation in the 2020 legislative session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Julie Hummer, a former special education teacher, a mother of 5 public school students, a member of the Anne Arundel County Board of Education, and MABE's Legislative Committee Chair. MABE views the Kirwan Blueprint for Maryland's future as a call to action for the building of a world-class education system in Maryland. MABE supports the focus on policy and funding recommendations in the following major policy areas to ensure that each student is provided with high-quality early childhood education programs, high-quality and diverse teachers and principals, access to college and career readiness paths, including advanced college prep programs and career and technical education that leads to employment, and the significant additional state and local resources needed to ensure that each and every student is afforded every opportunity to succeed. For MABE, the Kirwan Blueprint appropriately focuses on our youngest learners, as well as our students on the threshold of moving on to success in college and careers. Local boards recognize the need to invest in high-quality early childhood education. This includes a significant expansion of full-day preschool, which will be free for all low-income 3- and 4-year-olds. These programs are critically important if we are to truly prepare each child to enter kindergarten ready to learn. MABE supports the Commission's recommendation to count pre-kindergarten students as enrolled, but also to count them separately for state funding purposes through the implementation phase. Importantly, MABE endorses the Commission's recommendation to define pre-kindergarten students as enrolled students for purposes of triggering the mandatory local share of funding on a pure pupil basis. MABE and local boards also strongly support the Commission's focus on creating a world-class instructional system, which will enable most students to achieve college and career-ready status by the end of 10th grade, and then pursue pathways that include early college, advanced placement courses, and/or a rigorous career and technical education program leading to industry-recognized credentials and high-paying jobs. CTE programs are in high demand and critically needed to prepare our students for success. This is why MABE supports significantly increased state funding to expand and strengthen the system of comprehensive high schools with specialized CTE programs and specialized CTE high schools in accordance with local school system priorities and local board governance. MABE also agrees with the Commission that we should introduce students to career and academic options early, including during middle school, to give students the opportunity to take introductory CTE coursework in order to engage their interest and retain them in high school. Thank you for your vision in providing a comprehensive set of recommendations and reforms to improve school readiness and college and career readiness for our students. MABE believes these programs will prove to have an enormous return on investment for our students, communities, and the entire state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am Pamela Cousins, a member of the Calvert County Board of Education and Secretary on MABE's Board of Directors. Equity in funding and educational policies and programs is a top priority for MABE and the local boards we represent. For MABE, educational equity means providing access to essential academic, social, emotional, and economic supports in order to engage each student in rigorous instruction with appropriate educational resources to achieve their highest potential. Funding equity is necessary to support educational equity, and clear formal requirements for state and local investments in programs, schools, and students are needed to ensure that both of these equity outcomes are achieved. This is why MABE so strongly supports the Commission's recommendations to increase funding for all students, but even more so for students learning English, receiving special education services from economically disadvantaged households and communities and struggling learners. MABE also supports adding a concentrated poverty funding formula to support intensive services for students and their families to enable them to succeed in school that are coordinated and able to meet the additional needs of students in schools located in distressed communities. Lastly, MABE strongly endorses the Commission's recommendations to phase in a new requirement for local governments to pay a local share of per pupil funding for economically disadvantaged students, students receiving special education services, and students learning English. The current funding formula provides substantial state funding on a wealth equalized basis. However, the law includes no mandate that local governments close the gap by providing an equitable local share of per pupil funding for those students who need a strong shared investment of state and local dollars the most. Thank you for the work on behalf of Maryland Public Schools and each of our students.
Thank the three of you.
Thank you.
Next, we have from the Maryland Public Charter School Alliance, Alan McKenzie.